Welcome back, everybody. It's another Friday Live with Commissioner Kevin Ross. It's great to see everybody today. We'll give everybody a few moments to get on. It has been an extremely busy week. I got a lot of information to go over with you. We've got several questions that have come in to us over the course of the week. If you have questions right now, please, by all means, send us a note on Facebook here and or the other medium you may be on, and let us know what those questions are. I'm happy to answer them, happy to take them on, and make sure we get you the information that you're looking for. But again, it has been a busy week, and I appreciate you tuning in and listening, because it's always great to reach out to the people of Weld County, right? You have the right to know what goes on in the county, and many of you may not know all the intricacies of it, but I want to get that information out to you, share it with you, and create dialogue. We've got some big things I want to hit on today. I'm kind of passionate about them. I might be worked up, so if I get to them and I get fired up, you can tell me, pump the brakes, Commissioner Ross, and I'll do my best. But right now, I'm kind of fired up with some of the stuff going on at the state capitol from our governor, and we'll get to that in a moment. But what I wanted to start off with, did anybody get an opportunity to come up with a picture of a superstar or a famous person with a haircut that you think you might turn into, right, with not being able to get to the beauty salon or the barber shop here during this COVID crisis? Again, I shared with you guys all that I'm afraid I'm going to turn into looking like Bob Ross, the famous painter that we all remember off of PBS, and I think I'm getting well on my way to doing that. I'm feeling quite bushy here on the sides of the head, and we're having fun, and heck, I think my eyebrows are going to turn into Wilford Brimley here pretty soon. So we're counting down the days till we can all look fresh and clean, I'm sure, but maybe some of you are enjoying sitting around on Skype and being able to do meetings in your pajamas and all that fun stuff. I know many people are, and my wife is included in that. So today, what I told you guys I would touch base on, after we got back from celebrating Easter last Sunday, which was kind of a snowy day. It kept everybody inside, and I'm sure many different ways of celebrating that holiday. But I wanted to touch base this week on human services. Everybody across the county goes, what is human services? We all have a different vision of it. And what do they do? What is the role of human services? What I've here to share with you, truly today I had 10 meetings with human service departments. Got meetings set up again Monday, but we've been meeting with them nearly every other day since I became a county commissioner. We meet with Jamie and Tammy and their team regarding the events and things going on at human services, because it is such a big part of the county. Question I get is, what is human services? How does it operate? Why the heck do we have human services? So I'm going to try and bring a little bit of light to those questions for you today. Well, human services really envelops several things. Things we work on are child abuse, child welfare. They work on gathering public assistance for whether that's gathering food for people, getting them meals, getting them Medicaid assistance. They get them financial assistance. We have many things that our team is working on. They collect child support from those that are delinquent on making their child support payments. And they do that through like 30 different areas. They collect everything from tax returns. By the way, if you are delinquent on your child support and you're getting a check from the president for your $1,200 stimulus check, you won't be getting that check, right? That's going to go to your child that deserves it, but which is something I learned today. I'm like, you guys can do that? They're like, you're darn right we can do it. If you win the lottery, they'll take the lottery away from you if you're delinquent on your child support. Their goal is to make sure people are following through with the commitments that they made to the children who deserve that. We have family resources. We have employment resources. Employment resources typically was doing about 12 appointments a day until this COVID pandemic hit. And now with all the layoffs across Weld County, and truly our heart goes out to you. Me and the other commissioners, we feel for you. We are fighting with you side by side on a daily basis. but their calls are up from 12 a day to about 150 a day, helping people out who are recently unemployed, helping them find ways to still make their mortgage or their rent payments, helping them find ways to feed their family and do the things that they're normally used to or get medical assistance. So human services touches on many things. Why do we have them? Well, quite frankly, most of the services, nearly all of them, are mandated through code from the state and from the feds. They say, Weld County, you have to do this. We don't have a choice. And I want to share with you just the magnitude of the size of human services. They're about 450 to 500 people strong in that department. It's a huge department. Now, we get some funding from the state, we get funding from the feds, and then the county has to match a lot of those funds. Some of them are matched dollar for dollar. Some of them are matched at 80-20%. Say the state pays 80 and the county pays 20%. But we are mandated to do it. It's not simply something we can say, nope, we're not going to take care of child welfare today. It doesn't work like that. What really hurts, though, is too many times the state, being state legislators, or the governor say, you, Weld County, has to do this, and they don't give us the money to do it. And I'm going to touch on that here in a minute because that's one of my pet peeves I have going on today with our fearless governor for the state of Colorado. But we provide these services, and they're extremely unique services to really some special individuals in the county that need it most. I asked, what's the magnitude? How many people across Weld County are receiving some type of service through human services? 25% of Weld County residents receive some form or fashion of services through our HS department. That blew me away. I said, that is a ton of people. Now, surely that's exuberantly high compared to everywhere else. Tammy and Jamie, Jamie's our director of human services. Tammy's the deputy. They said, no, actually, we're right in line with the rest of the state. Boulder might be slightly less, Denver probably slightly higher, but we're right there in the average. That's a lot of people that receive those critical services. I think of grandparents receiving the critical service of getting meals, whether they get them dropped off at their house or they go to a congregate facility like a senior center, right? And they receive those meals every day. When they receive those meals, it's not just about maybe that's the only hot meal they get that day, but what else are they doing? They're having interaction and socializing with other individuals, and it's bringing them so much more than just a hot meal. I go back to remember, and I'd visit my grandfather before he passed away, and I'd go up to the senior center, and I loved it. We'd sit there, and I don't know how else to explain it, but all these seniors, right, for lack of a better term, sitting around the table, they all kind of get crotchety once in a while at each other, and they dig at each other, and they just know how to push each other's buttons, but they're socializing, and they're having fun, and it's all in jest. And I know this, they take care of each other too, because they're always checking on each other in case somebody didn't show up. They were checking on them, making sure everything was okay, making sure maybe someone hadn't fallen or maybe even worse yet. So it's an amazing how they provide these unique services that are really important for a lot of people. We talk about programs like TANF, and that's kind of what maybe we refer to as the old welfare programs, things to that nature. Here's what I learned. I thought maybe once you went on TANF funding that you could be on there forever. Do you realize it's only a 5-year lifetime benefit you can pull from that? So that means if I get on TANF today because I need it, and I'm stuck on it for 2 years, and I have to be actively applying for a job and applying for employment, that if I use up that 2 years and I find a job and I'm able to provide for myself and don't need those TANF funds anymore, I'm down to 3 years left. So if I lose a job down the future, it's not like that 5 years starts back up. So, that's a good thing, right? We're trying to make people be self-sufficient and be independent from the system. And so I think that's wonderful. I guess I wanted to talk about a few other things today. And like I said, I'm a little fired up, and I don't know how else to bring it. Normally, I know I'm supposed to have this big smile and everything as I'm talking with you guys here on Facebook Live, and we have Emma in the background right now saying, "Smile, Kevin." But the governor has has really pushed the buttons for us as Weld County Commissioners, and I'm sure for many of you guys out in Weld County right now that may be watching this or will watch it. One of the things he recently did is in regards to human services, and he issued an executive order. And what that executive order is it's to release those in youth detention. And he claims this is for COVID. And because of the COVID-19 process that we're going, so he's trying to get the populations down at our jails. Well, this isn't just simply COVID related. If everyone remembers back to when he was campaigning, he promised he was going to get the youth out of the jails, right? He promised he was going to bring inmate populations down. All he's trying to do here is take advantage of a crisis and push an agenda in a time when a lot of people aren't looking. So because of his executive order, he's taking kids out of our Platt detention facility, our youth services, and he's wanting to release them on the street. Well, these are wards of the state, meaning they're the state's responsibility. They're not that Weld County's responsibility or Weld County's wards. What do we do with these individuals, especially the violent ones? Where do they go? Do they have places to go? Do we just open up the jail cells or the youth detention facilities and say, okay, you're on your way. The governor said be on your way. Do we put violent offenders in areas where nonviolent offenders are at? Can you imagine the problems that this creates and the safety issues that this creates for our youth that maybe needed a place of safety to get away from other issues that they were dealing with, maybe at home or in other scenarios? And now we're putting violent offenders with them, all so that the governor can deliver on one of his campaign promises under the guise of the COVID-19 problem. This is what sickens me, but folks, it doesn't stop here. Everyone's looking for their stimulus paycheck right now in the mail, those of you that qualify for it. And we're also looking at things like PPP, which is now exhausted, I learned yesterday, right? So many businesses who are trying to get that Paycheck Protection Program dollars in to stay afloat during this time while their employees are staying home and being safe, and so that they can keep those doors open and provide that payroll. That program's exhausted. Hopefully Congress can come together to provide those dollars that those businesses missing out on it can come up with. But the governor's not doing it because of that. The governor has no hard empirical data saying, we need to release these youth from youth detention facilities. No, that's not what he's doing. He's doing it to try and fulfill a campaign promise and put the onus back on the counties. He doesn't have to deal with it. It's not his problem, it's somebody else's. And frankly, it's frustrating the living daylights out of me. Then we get to the CARES Act. So part of the stimulus bill that Congress passed and the president signed off on was going to provide dollars to communities, local governments, to help backfill their shortage in budgets. Because right now, we're providing many services that maybe we didn't even before, and we're having to provide them in a larger degree because of the large numbers of unemployed. And here's what Governor Polis has decided to do. He has stated that he's going to keep $1.7 billion of the CARES Act that was supposed to go to Colorado communities to help them out in this time of need. He's keeping that for himself to backfill the state's budget programs. Woe and behold, the state ever has to give up anything. And woe and behold, they ever have to give up their pet projects. Again, the governor treats it as not my problem, your problem. These are small communities, so he's saying any community with less than $500,000, nah, you don't get your money. I'm keeping it because I'm going to be short on money here at the state. I don't know about you, but it's frustrating as all daylights. And you know what this all stems from? It stems from a lack of communication. I watch the president's addresses, and thank God we have Donald Trump as our president right now. I listen to him, and there is a man ready to take on the battle, and he does not shy away from it. And I'm so grateful for it. But you know what he's doing is every day he's having conference calls and meetings with the governors across the country, regardless of their political affiliation. What do you need? How can we get it to you? And from what I understand from the president, everything the states are asking for, they're getting to some degree. Now, maybe they're not getting to the degree they're asking for, but what Trump and his team are deciding, they're getting it. And I don't think anyone's falling short in those degrees. You know how much communication Governor Polis has given Weld County, or the majority of counties for that matter? Zero. Not once has Jared Polis reached out to Weld County commissioners and said, how's it going up in Weld County? Notice maybe you guys have several cases of COVID-19 testing positive. Maybe you have a lot of fatalities. You think he's included county commissioners on any discussions, asking what we're doing to fight this, asking what he could do to help us out, asking what we need? Not once has the governor reached out to us, other than to tell us, nope, your programs, like our property tax deferral program that we put together with business leaders, with individuals across our county to try and defer property taxes with minimal interest until October 31st, after he simply released his executive order and we followed his executive order. Then he tells us, no, that's not what I meant. I'm sorry, Weld County. You can only do it for 30 days. We took away a real, meaningful solution for individuals, for business owners to stay in business, give them some extra liquid cash. I was talking with a farmer the other day, and he goes, man, I'm so grateful. Kevin, I'm so grateful you gave this to us so that I don't have to pay that right now. I can get my crops in the ground. It's corn planting season. I said, well, I wish I could tell you thank you, but unfortunately, that's been shut down. He says, you're kidding me. I said, no. He goes, this is what I was counting on to defer it, so I had a little bit of cash on hand to put that corn in the ground. I don't know how to continue breaking the news to the people. We're trying to give meaningful help to them. The governor seems insistent upon taking it away, all in the name of politics. I've been trying to be nice on these Friday afternoon meetings, and frankly, I'm fed up. I know my other fellow county commissioners are fed up as well, but we're going to work through it. You know why? Because we're Weld strong, and we're working day and night. When I tell you we're working 7 days a week, that's not an exaggeration. We are. We're trying to figure out ways right now. This is what we've been working on here for the last 10 days. How can we open Weld County back up for business? And how do we make that happen as soon as possible? Now. So what we've tasked our department chairs with, what we've tasked our director of health, what we've tasked our entire team with, what does it look like to open Weld County back up for business? What are those guidelines maybe we can make available to business owners so that if I own a hat shop, or I own a restaurant, or I own a restaurant, or I already said restaurant twice, I guess, right? Or I own a small boutique or an antique store or a larger business. What are some things I can do to make my business safer for individuals coming in so that I can open up my doors? Well, here in Weld County, we believe about your constitutional rights, so we're not going to mandate a lot of things. We're not going to mandate anything. We're going to give you suggestions, right? We're going to give you maybe some best practices that you can choose to follow. Because where the rubber meets the road, in my opinion, is the consumer. The consumer has to have the confidence to feel comfortable leaving their house and going to that business. They have to understand, you know what, my favorite restaurant, I believe they've taken the right steps to make myself safe. Whether they've removed a few tables so we have distance between the tables, whether that merchandise store I go to has put up sneeze guards similar to the supermarkets. This isn't rocket scientists. We have supermarkets that have figured it out. People are frequenting the supermarkets, they're frequenting Target, they're frequenting the big box stores, and they understand what it takes to be safe. I watch Weld County residents walk around, they're using common sense, and most of these practices are going to be common sense. But what we're doing is we're trying to figure out how to get Weld County back to work. We have simply come to a grinding halt because the governor has refused to use true scientific data and numbers for the COVID response. Well, I don't know what he's going to look at to open it back up either, because he hasn't been using numbers up until now. In fact, his numbers have all been wrong. I got an email this morning from one of my followers, Dave Kisker, and he broke it down. He says, what is Governor Polis not revealing about the COVID-19 modeling? And he's not releasing the data. He's not releasing it for us. You know, in their first models, and here's what I love about government, and I say that sarcastically, we talk about models and modeling. Well, when I hear the word model, I hear something that's not real. I hear something that's an interpretation of something that's real. Well, when they looked at the models up front, they're looking at a number, and it's called the R0 number. And that is simply how many people I'm going to transfer the disease to if I become positive for it. The state was using between an R0 number of 4 and 5, meaning I would contaminate 4 to 5 other individuals. When we actually knew or had relative belief that it would be closer to 1. So they scare us, and they tell us we need to get all locked down, give up our constitutional rights, and tell us we need to go home, lock ourselves at home, shut down your businesses, because we're going to over-exaggerate how many people are being impacted by this. Now, make no mistake, this is not your common flu. People are being affected with this. The hospitals are filling up. This whole thing was constructed so that we did not overwhelm our health system. But we're not seeing the fatalities that they told us we would see. We're not seeing the hospitals being overwhelmed. We've set up with Larimer County and the Army Corps of Engineers a additional facility at the ranch. And that has room in there for a lot of people should the hospitals be overwhelmed. And I believe it's close to 1,000. And if we have that many COVID positive patients, we'll take them to the hospital first, check them out, confirm that they have COVID-19, and then they'll get transported to the ranch. Those that aren't in serious or critical condition. Right now, we're not having to use it. I pray we don't have to use that facility. But the governor's not using hard math. I've heard from you as Weld County residents, show us the numbers, be more transparent. What I'm excited to release to you right now, and you can go on at 4 o'clock today is what I've been told. So now there's a little bit of pressure on our IT team, right? Because I'm announcing this on live Facebook, but this is what I've been told. We're going to be releasing more numbers to you, the public, of what we have just recently found out. I literally got these numbers a day and a half ago of breaking it down by the county where these cases are at. Why are we doing that? It's to bring back that confidence. Let people make a risk analysis on their own on where they feel safe going. It's going to be broke down by the zip code. You're going to be able to click on it, and it'll show you where that zip code is at, and you'll see where the cases are at. You'll see how it's affecting different communities. Reason we didn't say municipalities is because we have a lot of unincorporated Weld residents, and we don't want you to think you're not affected, because trust me, every community is affected with COVID-19. So we still have to practice those common sense practices. 6-foot distancing, right? Cough into your arm. Wash your hands with soap and water vigorously, right? Don't touch your eyes. Don't touch your mouth. Take these things on, and we can help stop the spread of it. Use common sense, right? Don't gather in large groups yet. Be prepared for it, But I think there's a way we can bring Weld County back to work, and that's what we're feverishly working on, so that we can. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm not working, I don't feel productive, and it can be quite frustrating. So with that, I think we had a few questions come in.
Well, you had a couple that came in early before the session. One of them I think you've answered, which had to do with being more transparent with the numbers. Can you say again where they can locate this information?
Oh, that's a great question, Sherry. So I think that was from Sherry, a different Sherry online. But yeah, you can go to weldgov.com and go to the tab that says departments and click on the health department. And inside of there, you'll see our COVID-19 page. Click on that, and it's going to be a new infographic. It's interactive. I think they call it, I think it's an interactive app. I don't know. I'm not a computer genius, right? But you're able to click on things, and when you click on the bars on the left, it highlights the actual zip code area on the map, and there's several tabs there for showing you cases, total cases, cases by day, total deaths by day. So a lot more information than I have ever been privy to, and excited to share that with the residents. What we've done, though, exactly what Jared Polis hasn't done. So we as the county commissioners, myself and Scott James especially pushing this, we've been in contact with our municipal leaders, our mayors. Because as we get this information, we want them to have that information. So we've reached out to them to share it with them. because I'm frustrated with the governor for not sharing his information with us. And I would be a hypocrite if I didn't do the same thing. And so we've been in contact with our mayors. They're grateful for it because this is what they've been asking for. I know one question that came in late last week after we got done was, why aren't we giving this information to first responders like EMTs and police if they're on the scene? I don't know exactly why. The reason has been is because Dr. Wallace has wanted everyone to be treated as if they are COVID positive. And that's really how our EMTs and first responders are responding. They're going into the scene, making sure they're dressed accordingly, and it's appropriate. So.
One other question, very quickly, from Sherry, was if they move COVID patients from Larimer County to Banner and Weld, who gets that number?
That's a good question. So if they were a Larimer County resident and if they started off on the Larimer County side, their hospital's overwhelmed, so they've moved over to the Weld County side of Banner Hospital there, that's still a Larimer County case. That's still a Larimer County fatality.
Okay.
And the other question that comes up is, because the rumors swirl right now, and that's what people are frustrated with. They don't have the information. People are going, okay, so if I die of a heart attack, is that just getting written down as a COVID fatality? And that answer is no. I had a long discussion with our coroner, and let's say I pass away today from a heart attack. Let's hope not, right? I'm a little worked up today, but my fatality would go down as a heart attack, even if I test post-mortem positive for COVID-19. That's still going to show a fatality as a heart attack. We are not trying to inflate numbers or do anything outside of that. I think that's been the concern of some people. Do we have some more questions?
We have about 3 minutes. You
Okay.
wanted to wrap up with what do you think?
That's a good question. I want your input. What do you think it looks like to open up Weld County? What are some guidelines? Do you think we should open up? I'm getting a lot of calls, emails on a daily basis. Kevin, we need to get back to work. Please, for the love of God, do what you need to do to open up Weld County. Trust me, we hear you. That's why we're working on it day and night. In fact, when I get done with this, I've got another 2-hour meeting with our team, with all of our department chairs, as we're continuing to work on this for the day and look at these guidelines that maybe we can use and resources we can use and bring forth to you to help you get your business ready to be opened back up. So what does that look like for you? Do you have some best practices you'd like to share with us on Facebook? Reach out. We'd love to hear from you. And I'm sure those watching would love to see it too.
You're getting rave reviews. No wonder questions, but rave reviews.
Okay, so the one last thing I want to touch on. Please don't hesitate to reach out to our website. And that's kevinrossforweld.com. Again, that's kevinrossforweld.com. Would still love for you to volunteer. If you want a yard sign, please let us know. Drop us a note. If you want to volunteer, we need your help. I've got individuals working on our behalf, and gosh, it's great. I'm excited about Team Kevin Ross as we move forward on this. Guys, we need to win the primary here in June. And if you feel so inclined and can do so, I know these are tough financial times, but can make a donation to the campaign. Every dollar helps. $5, $10, if you're so inclined to be able to do so, it truly does help us. Those are a couple yard signs that we can put out. If you're able to do more, $50, $100, $500, it helps us get the messaging out so that we can continue with this and make sure that we go.
And one last thing. Thank you for the 1,000 likes.
Oh, yes. It's a big time. We celebrated a couple days ago, but guys, we got 1,000 likes on our page, which I am told that's a big thing from our social media director, and I trust her. But you guys know me, I'm not the biggest social media person there is out there. So I trust my team, and I'm excited about that. We're flying, guys. Things are going great. We're getting so much positive reviews across the counties we go across. And so it's been fun meeting with everybody. I hope you have a safe, glorious weekend. And again, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.